All right, now we have a petition for termination of parental rights filed by Henry County Defects. It's on for hearing. We're conducting the hearing virtually using the internet platform Zoom. We have with us the attorney for defects, Mr. Skowronek, the attorney and guardian ad litem appointed for the minor child, Ms. Miller, Mr. and Ms. Kirkland, the current placement of the child, Vicky Polliard, the recently appointed attorney to represent Ms. Puckett, the mother. Have you met your lawyer, Ms. Puckett?
I spoke with her briefly yesterday.
Okay, so you're ready to go?
No. Oh, Your Honor.
Oh, I have a stack of proposed exhibits are less than 6 inches thick, so I don't know.
I spoke with counsel for the department. And so we initially, when I was appointed for the case, I was praying to go forward and then realizing how voluminous these documents are. And I understand it was going back 5 years. I was going to request a continuance. And I know with the state or with the department, I'm sorry, he wasn't sure if defects themselves would consent to a continuance, but at minimum, we did at least look at the potential of requesting, or at least my requesting, a special set date, because I really do need to dig into these files, with there being just so many, just so much, and making sure that I can adequately represent Ms. Puckett. And so it's my understanding the court may not necessarily have too many things on Fridays. And so I wanted to know if the court were inclined to allow us to have this continuance, if November 17th is a date that the court would be comfortable with.
The clerk is telling me that I'm out. I think that may be the week of the Child Welfare Summit in Atlanta, which I'm scheduled to attend. My doctor's appointments and stuff like that are not on the court's official calendar, so I need to look at that.
Yeah, we don't. The court doesn't. The court says, "No, we. It's okay, Your Honor. You can keep those appointments."
Sometimes I don't want to keep them. In fact, I've got two I've got to make up. I had to miss, but we also have Mr. Turnipseed, the case manager, and the mother, Ms. Puckett, is here. So I think I've identified everybody for the record. Let me go get that. And I thought at least Ms. Puckett would have all this committed to memory if you hadn't had time to commit it to memory. When we have one of these cases, you know, the first thing I look at in the file is what? It's in the back of the file.
Well, usually to see if we have service, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, there's a non-S return in the file. But I thought, well, maybe you got her to acknowledge service. I can't find one of those.
That was what I was going to raise, Your Honor. So the statute actually, where an address of an out-of-state parent is known, requires only that service be made by certified and or registered mail return receipt requested. And that's what was done. And then the return receipt came back. For some reason, it's the same address we've been using for Ms. Puckett the whole time, saying unable to serve. And I think I got that either yesterday or the day before. And the clerk's office, I think I'd gotten that last week or something like that. So I was going to talk to Ms. Polliard about having her client just acknowledge service then for purposes of that for today. And then, you know, if the court resets it, then that would resolve that issue.
A little quid pro quo.
And we had, you know, several hearings before today with Ms. Puckett where we talked about today being the TPR hearing. So she was aware of it as well. But I mean, at this point, there was not any proof of service.
Well, I just never cease to be amazed by our postal service. This thick $10, in excess of $10 postage sent certified mail to Ms. Puckett, Indiana, which is the address she keeps giving me every time we have court. Is dated, posted, marked August the 7th. And it came back to our office. Return to sender, attempted, not known, unable to forward, return to sender. And it got back to us on October the 4th. 2 months.
Yep. I think you can probably thank Mr. What is his name? DeJoy. That's the new Postmaster General that's trying to reinvent the wheel with the Postal Service. I don't know.
Well, I just remembered and had a flashback to here recently that I had my W-3 that I filed for household employees for 2022 that I mailed in January came back 2 weeks ago undeliverable.
Yep.
And it was due to the Social Security Administration at the end of January. That reminds me, I think I've resent it. I just don't know what the scoop is. I digress. I'm sorry. Well, I think out of abundance of caution, especially with this being a TPR, that was not the, I see where I'm going to be out of town, but it's not for the summit. The summit's the next week or 2 weeks later. But anyway, that's not a good date. But if y'all are willing to acknowledge service, she's entitled to a trial no sooner than 30 days from service. So November 17th would be too soon. And I guess you could waive the 30-day requirement, but that would get us into December. Well, I'm sorry. Today's the 11th. So it'd get us to the middle of November. So around where you were. So I don't know how I counted that. That was totally wrong. November 17th would have been okay if she acknowledged service today. But it's not good for me, I'm sorry to say. So what's the state's DFACS's position about the request for continuance of the newness of counsel? And the record does need to reflect that Ms. Puckett had, Joan Risher was her attorney through all the litigation over the years in the dependency and in this. And I think at one time in the past, Ms. Puckett asked me to give her another lawyer, which I declined to do. And when Ms. Risher notified the court that she was retiring from the practice of law and wanted to be relieved in this case, and told her she had to file a request. And I thought, and we didn't have any more lawyers on our panel for indigent dependency cases. So I was able to secure the generosity of Ms. Pollard and her time to come over across the county line. She practices she practices all over Metro Atlanta, but you have an office in Clayton County, I think you told me.
I have I'm conflict counsel with Clayton.
Okay.
With Clayton. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, we appreciate your help, but that's the reason why she's coming into this. It's not anything on her in terms of when she came into the case. She came into the case as soon as I appointed her, and I appointed her as soon as I could find her. So anyway, what's the DFACS's position about her request to continue the case to become familiar with rather voluminous litigation over the last 4 to 5 years involving Ms. Puckett and Chase, who started out in this case with a different name, and his name was changed somewhere along the line?
Do you want me to respond?
Yes.
So, what I will say for the record, Your Honor, is the department is ready to proceed today. I certainly think that from a professionalism point of view, I'm looking at it like it's really not fair to Ms. Pollard. She got appointed on this case last week, and she's not had a chance. When I talked to her yesterday, she had not had a chance to talk to Ms. Puckett. Now, you heard Ms. Puckett say that they talked briefly, but I don't know that they've discussed this case in any depth at this point. Also, then we've got the service issue that, while like I said, I don't have the statute right in front of me, but I'm almost positive that there's nothing in the statute that says that you actually have to get a return back. It just says you have to send it to the out-of-state address via certified mail return receipt requested, which was done in this case, to the address that, Ms. Puckett has been giving the court and the department for the last, I don't know how many hearings. So, but even putting that aside, I think from an abundance of caution, Your Honor, I think that the court could probably find that there is good cause. I'll just say for the record, the department is ready to proceed, and we're ready to go forward today if that's the court's decision. And if the court decides there's a good cause, we'll certainly respect the court's decision with regards to that.
Ms. Polliard, are you okay with your client acknowledging service?
Yes, Your Honor, it's not a problem.
Okay. And you're okay with that, Ms. Puckett?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if we count the 30 days from the acknowledgement today, then we would need to have the hearing on or after November the 12th. If y'all want to have it earlier, I don't.
Actually, 31 days in this month, Your Honor, would be November 11th or 10th, right?
Yeah, well, the 11th is a Saturday.
And then 10th is the observation.
I hadn't looked at that part, but
would this would it be in the afternoon?
Well, most of my special sets are done in the afternoon. But it does, if I have a space, now I have domestic violence and also do special sets on Thursday mornings, but I have Superior Court TPOs every Thursday. Oh, that's right. I can't do Thursday mornings anymore. I was thinking because I do adult mental health court every other Thursday, but I lost Thursday with the TPO stuff.
What about Friday, the 1st or the 8th of December?
I think the 1st.
I can do the 1st, but I can't do the 8th.
I can do the 1st.
The summit is what I was mistaken. That goes through the Friday the 1st.
I know Mr. Turnipseed wanted November 30th. The court said that doesn't work for the court. Demiso, does the 1st work for you? That's the next day.
Say that again.
I was asking Mr. Turnipseed if the 1st works for him.
Well, that conference I'm at is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the 29th, 30th, and the 1st. If you're talking about December.
Right. I was talking December 1st.
So the judge, Your Honor, can't do it because he's going to be at the summit. So for me, it looks like the 4th to the 7th is open for me.
I can't do the 7th or the 8th.
What about earlier in November then? I know we've got Thanksgiving the 23rd.
What about Wednesday, November 15th?
Friday the 15th?
Wednesday.
I have a hearing. I have a hearing that afternoon.
What about the 28th? Can we do the 28th in the morning?
28th of November?
Yes.
Oh, I'm in December, actually.
I'm on leave. I'm on leave that week. That's Thanksgiving.
Well, you could just delay your leave one day or half a day, depending on how long it takes. I've probably got stuff already booked for that Monday though anyway. So I
think the review for Tristan and Trinity is that day, November 28th.
November 28th.
I think so. If it was 27, if it was
Right.
one of those.
So I think it is.
But we would have to, if it's on the 28th, Your Honor, you're probably that's a Tuesday. That's a normal defax day for you. You're probably going to have a bunch of stuff on that day where I don't know that you're going to be able to squeeze this in.
Yeah, Monday, I have Monday morning and afternoon calendars, Tuesday afternoon, Wednesday morning and afternoon, sometimes. Sometimes I don't have anything in the afternoon like today.
What about Monday, November 27th? I only see one thing at 8.
Look at that for me, Madam Clerk.
Yeah, I don't have anything on that day. The 27th of November, I have nothing
You have an
currently.
Name.
She says I have an 8 o'clock at 8 o'clock.
That's all that's on there though, I think.
What is it? One of these private reviews?
It's via Zoom.
Do y'all want to come here? Well, Ms. Puckett, you're still not moving down here, so I guess it helps you to do it on Zoom. Is that right?
I mean, like, could I come in person to court
Yes.
around that time? Yes, I could.
Well,
I could come down there. And go to court.
we've kind of gotten used to doing all the stuff, and yours isn't the only case. We do probably the majority of our cases on Zoom. I will tell you, with handling documents and the volume of documents, it makes it easier if everybody's here in the courtroom trying to deal. I mean, that's why they circulate the documents in advance, to try to cut down on the hassle, but it also makes it a little easier for you and your lawyer to communicate spontaneously about things, as opposed to having asked to keep having breakouts where and I don't mind within reason doing those, but what we're going to do is we're going to pick a date, and then y'all can hash it out, and I'm fine to do it either way because I'm in the courtroom on Zoom or in person. But you're the only one who's now. I think Grandma, the Puckett, the Kirklands. I thought you lived in another county, but you told me last time I saw you that you did live in Henry County, right?
No, she live in Clayton County.
Okay, close
Yeah,
enough.
I live in Clayton, but I also have my small child as well, my 4.5-year-old. And I would try to find somebody to watch her while I came. That's my problem with that.
Well, I would imagine the department would be calling you as a witness, but that's up to them. We have a means to do it hybrid where you could be virtual and everybody else could be in the courtroom. I don't like it. And the last time we did it, it just didn't work as well as we had it happen once before, but we could possibly do that to accommodate you. But you'd be in the same situation if the lawyer needed to talk to you about something and you're not here. But I'm going to let y'all decide what you want to do. Just once we pick the date, y'all just need to let us know, because Robin would need to set out the Zoom invites if we're going to do it Zoom.
Can we do Monday, November 27th at 9, starting right after your 8 o'clock Zoom?
I was going to say 8:30.
Okay, 8:30 would be good.
All right.
Like, in what world is 8:30 ever good?
I don't want to throw cold water on that, Your Honor, but I've been in this court long enough that it is rare for this court to finish in half an hour. I'm just wanting to say that.
You must have me confused with Judge Brown.
No, I don't think so.
Judge, I would request 9 because I have 2 that I have to drop off at school as well, and I'll be coming from the home.
Well, what do you do every time we have 8 o'clock court and you have to be here?
Normally, those aren't the weeks that I have my little ones that I have to drop them off. So it's
You need
worked
to learn
out.
how to throw them out the window and don't slow down.
Mm.
How old are they? How old are they?
Chuck the kid out the window here.
12 and 7.
12 and 7.
And then next thing you know, he's gonna have to be here for another reason.
Mm.
Exactly. Listen to Cal.
Well, I remember fussing at you for being late for court one time, a long time ago, and that was your reason, because you took your kids to wherever they had to go. And you lived in DeKalb. That's your mistake. It's living in the wrong county. You can move to Henry, and it can take just as long to get anywhere in Henry as it does in DeKalb. So you won't miss a beat.
But he said, but then I'd have to live in Henry.
I think this is pretty well.
Now, Miss Collier, listen to her.
Henry County catching strays for no reason.
Yeah.
I figured if we're gonna throw out in the
We
cap.
have to reconsider her appointment if she's going to start.
I'm in Fulton. I make no noise over here in my little corner, unincorporated Atlanta.
All right. So we're going to accommodate Mr. Turnip Seed. So don't say you never got accommodated. 9 o'clock. Now, do I need to block the whole day off? Please tell me I don't.
I would say at least for my part, Your Honor, a couple hours. I expect there are going to be 3 witnesses from me, and that's well, possibly 4. So that's why I'm saying a couple hours.
And Ms. Pollard has at least agreed to waive thorough, if not sifting, cross-examination. So we should be able to get through in 4 hours.
Yeah, I talked to her about that yesterday too.
We can hope.
Well, I need to know. I mean, I can block off. Is there anything that's starting my 1 o'clock calendar?
You don't have anything else on that day. Just that. one.
Okay. Then that's right after Thanksgiving. So we're going to block the whole day, but please don't take the whole day. At my age, I don't have the endurance I used to have. Does anybody feel sorry for me?
I do.
Okay.
Nobody wants to.
I played the world's tiniest violin.
I was like, was that
I've been here till 1 o'clock in the morning before, so
Oh,
I
absolutely
haven't
not.
done it, but I don't want to do it if I don't have to.
Oh,
Yeah, I did that with Judge Welsh once, so that was not any fun.
All right, I'm gonna block the whole day off with the understanding that you're gonna diligently make effort to make it a 4 to 5 hour, and we will go through lunch until we're through. We don't break for lunch.
Okay.
So if anybody's diabetic and needs stuff going on about their diet, please let me know so I can give you 5 minutes to go do what you need to do.
Did they decide if they want to Zoom or live?
I told them they could let us. Robin is panicked that you're going to wait till the very last minute to let her know Zoom or live. So let me give you a deadline to, you need to let her know.
Let's let her know now. If Miss Kirkland's going to be, Zoom, I don't mind being Zoom. I mean, unless it's really a pain in the neck for somebody.
Well-
And what if Miss Puckett has weather and can't get down here and needs to be Zoom? I think it's easier just being Zoom, especially if it's going to be all day.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't mind Zoom, especially with my client living out of state as well.
Well,
So-
just do me a favor though, you and get with counsel. I don't know whether you may have some documents.
Your Honor, most
So
of what you see over there in that stack that you've got is the certified copies of the orders. The other stuff is like that thick.
Okay, just be sure y'all have swapped everything and looked at it so that
Will do.
you talk about it without us having to stop and, do all this stuff.
And we'll
Yeah.
see if we can stipulate whatever we can stipulate can be
Well, I would
stipulated.
imagine you can stipulate to the certified copies of prior
Yeah.
orders.
Oh, yeah, those absolutely.
But, so you're gonna get her an exhibit list identifying these 4, so she
I
can,
sent the copies of all of that except the certified orders already to Ms. Pollard and to
Okay.
Ms.
okay, thank you.
There may be some additional ones now after this, but they've already got.
All right. All right. Well, the court finds good cause for continuance and the unusual nature of having to reappoint counsel. And Mother, I will for the record mention that Mother did discuss with me that she might be able to secure an appointment. And you told me last time I saw you, Ms. Puckett, that you had an appointment with some lawyer in Atlanta. Did you have that appointment?
Yes, I did have that consult, but they was on the north side of Atlanta, so they couldn't really come to this court.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. Well, we're going to let Ms. Pollard help you. And so I'll find good cause for the continuance for the time we need with schedules around the holiday and what have you. We've seen, and to give the mother the 30 days from service, although she's known about this, but technically, I don't know. I agree with you if you send it certified mail, but when the certified mail comes back not deliverable, that throws a quirk in it, for an uncertainty in it for me. But this is the safest thing. So get Ms. Polly the clerk will send you, email you an acknowledgement. You're her attorney of record, so I think you can acknowledge service for her if you want her to sign it. Ms. Puckett, don't mess around. If she sends you that, you need to sign it and get it right back, okay?
okay.
Because you've told me you'll do it and I need it done.
Okay.
And we're counting the 30 days from today when you said you'd acknowledge service. And you would sign it today, but for the fact that you're not here with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't send her any. I would if Ms. Pollard or the clerk's office is going to send something to Ms. Puckett, I'd email it because frankly, you've seen what we got back today. It's probably not going to get there.
Well, I was going to send it to Ms. Pollard, but we'll copy it to both of them. Did you?
And I gave Ms. Pollard Ms. Puckett's email, so she has that.
Did you have Ms. Puckett's email, Robin?
Place it in the chat.
Okay. All right.
What was the date that you wanted us to decide by? I know that we're leaning
Well,
towards.
everybody said they wanted to decide right now while we're on the screen. So it was Ms. Miller and Ms. Kirkland vote for Zoom, and Ms. Pollard voted for Zoom because of her client living out of state. And
All right,
so is that okay?
that's fine with me, Your Honor.
Never found a judge more accommodating, have you?
Well, and I know how the court always follows my wishes, so I appreciate that. It never happened in 20 years. Excuse me.
All right. November 27th at 9 o'clock, and this is a special set. So you lawyers who have your fingers in a lot of pies, be sure if you have to file conflicts that you let the other courts know that this was specially set, involves out-of-state parties and cannot be continued.
Will do.
All right. Thank you all. Is there anything further? All right.
Nothing
If not,
further. on my part, Your
Yes,
Honor.
I don't think so.
we will adjourn for the day. Thank y'all.
Right.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
thank you.
Have a great day.